There's a difference in taking ownership in the company. Taking ownership in the company is by owning one stock. You own one stock. You're an owner. You're considered an owner. You also consider that, as an owner, you are sharing. You are allowing them to share their money and your money and the things they support. And you are allowing them to use your money to maybe be in a business that you would now support of maybe, whatever it might be. If you own a casino, you're owning gambling, and you're a part of that in your ownership. So it is different in that we're not taking ownership in the company. But the counter argument to that, which I get all the time, is, but you're providing them money. That is true, you are. And you are providing profit to them. You're giving them, you're buying their products, so they're making money. And I think that it comes down at that point, as I say all the time, you've got to choose whether that's something you want to do. I mean, I have a number of places, stores, businesses that I will not set foot in because of my convictions against one thing or another that they're doing. Now, they happen to be stores that there's alternatives to, that I can go somewhere else. I had a guy call me once from Wyoming, and he said it was a time when I took Walmart off my list. They were no longer biblically responsible. By the way, Apple had been on my list for a very long time, years ago. And I took Walmart off, and he said, look, I don't know what to do because I'm with you on everything. But I drive an hour and 35 minutes to go to Walmart. And we as a family do everything. He was a rancher, but he lived, there was nothing around. And so they did everything, including their grocery shopping and everything at Walmart. He said, for us to change, we have to drive another 45 minutes. And, from that. And that's, it's really a hardship. And, I said, look, it's not, you can't. You got to go to Walmart. You can't, you've got to look at that and say, look, this is, I don't have any choice. This is what I've got to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. And, God understands your heart that you'd rather not do that. But at the same time, there's certain times we have to do it. In his case, I believe that was one of those things you have to do. And there's times like me where I won't go to certain places and partake in certain things because of my convictions. But you know what? It's not very courageous of me. I'm not being bold. It's no big deal. I can go. I don't go because I don't have to go. So, back when we were boycotting Home Depot, it was easy not to go to Home Depot. I had a Lowe's just as far away, though I like Home Depot better. I had a Lowe's just as far away. I could just switch and go to Lowe's, and I did. I mean, it wasn't really that big of a deal. So now I've gotten used to Lowe's. I continue to go to Lowe's for most things, but it's not really, it really doesn't matter. So I'm not making this grandstand for, for my convictions. That wouldn't be accurate. But at the same time, we just got to weigh that out. So taking ownership is what we base everything on. And you've got to decide if you want to take ownership in a company with God's money that is doing some things in. So Apple was on my list and off my list constantly because Steve Jobs used to walk in to this office. This is literally what used to happen. He used to walk in and say to his executive staff, stop every single app that we are working on or that we have created that is involved in pornography. We're not doing it anymore. We're done. I want it to all stop. And 8 months later, he'd walk in and say, how come we're not doing this? Or why are we losing money here? Or why are we not? And they would put it back on again. Then 8 months later, he would take it off. I mean, he literally did that constantly. And so I dropped him mainly because I couldn't take it anymore. You know, now it's a whole different world in a lot of other ways besides that. So, you know, sometimes, you know, there are whole sectors that I don't get involved in. I have, for the first time in 30 years, I have 2 or 3 retail companies, specialized retailers on my list. Never had a retail stock in 30 years on my list. Never had an airline stock on my list for 30 years. Never had a bank, a major bank of any sort on my list ever. So there are whole sectors for numerous reasons that I've taken that I don't have on my list. So, but we've got to. It's all about ownership, and that's how I look at it. Hey, remember to click the subscribe button right here on the screen, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when new content is added. And more importantly than anything, you don't want to miss all 3 live hours of Financial Issues every day from 9 to noon. And you can watch it on FISM.tv. That's FISM.tv.